Hi, this is Siofra's Magic Alcove, and I'm Siofra Bradigan.
And I am Ian Coyote.
So, as a follow-up to our video about enlivening statues, we're going to just enliven the statue. We've started the process of doing it. This statue here is my personal goddess statue of Aurora. I've had for a number of years, and I painted her. She was an angel that I painted. We've done another video that talks about some of my different figurines and so forth. But I've had her now for quite some time, and we did the first two elements already, but we hadn't done the rest of them. So we're going to redo the elements we've already done and show you what our process is, to give you some inspiration and ideas and explanation and so forth about how this works for us. So, first element we did was fire. And the reason for that is fire is the first element that comes into existence. So expound.
I'm sorry.
Expound upon what our focus is when we focus on fire to charge up our statue.
Well, fire. You want to visualize pulling the element in, like from the universe. You're putting it in the statue. You're filling it with that fiery element, which is not only red hot, it's also expansive and active movement and expansion, like a pressure. So that's what you're putting inside the statue. And if a person wants, they can use a pentagram of fire, invoking pentagram of fire over the statue, pull it down through. Or you can just use your imagination, which I assume we'll do. If somebody wants to look up the pentagrams, they can find them.
Right. Yeah, we have a whole video on the different elemental pentagrams. So we're going to focus on the properties of fire as and how it expand outwards.
Yes, and how it relates to personality and such. Same thing. Outwardness, the expansion, movement, change, those aspects of fire. I'm going to go ahead and draw the pentagram of fire above it. A person could use a wand or something. I don't have one particularly handy, but we'll use a finger. And you might want to do this imaginatively. One of the things Bardon mentions is pulling it in from the universe, so almost feel like you're pulling it in, you're compressing the fieriness into the statue, and it's becoming more and more fiery and more filled with the fiery element. Visualize the statue is becoming hotter and hotter as it gets more and more fire element into it. If the statue is for your own use, you can breathe the fire into your body and then exhale it back out into the statue.
I can definitely feel the energy in it at this point.
If you wanted to use the fire bija mantra with it, for a more Indian approach, it'd be rum, spelled R-A-M, but pronounced rum, to control the fire. I'll let you decide when we move on to the next element.
Well, it's definitely pulsing under my hands at this point.
Good.
Very much so. So the next element we'll put into the statue will be water. And water, because water compresses where fire expands.
Well, also it's the two, you keep your opposites balanced, I always think is a better way to do it. So I usually do fire and air, or fire and water, then air and earth, or vice versa, air and earth first, and then fire and water.
I like the fire, water, air, and earth because fire was first, and then came water, and then air separated, and then earth completed. So it makes more sense to my brain anyway. So we're going to now change our focus from fire to breathing in the air element, and air is cold and compresses.
Well,
water, sorry, you got air in my head.
Water is actually cold and it's incompressible, like physical water. But you can put it in and, well, I guess for the sake of putting it into a statue, it might as well be. You can intensify it and it'll get colder and colder, and it has the quality of pushing inward or compressing.
And that's what I was...
So yeah, it's not that... Yeah, it has that property within it.
Where fire wants to expand...
Water wants
outwards to the infinite
water
ends
wants
of the
to
universe.
Contract, yes.
Water wants to contract to the infinite point.
Yeah, but I didn't want to get anybody confused because water is physically not compressible.
That's my finger. Thank you. Squash my finger.
And the... Sorry.
Okay, so shifting gears to water.
I'll go ahead and put the... Use the water pentagram. I feel it getting more and more icy. You can pull it again from the universe if you want. Breathe it into the statue. If it's for your own use. If it's not for your own use, you should bring it in from the universe, but not through your body. The bija mantra for water is Vam. So if you want to pronounce that, Vam, and imagine the water element going into it with each pronunciation. If you like the idea of mantra, Vam. And it's getting colder and colder. That's the color of water, blue-green. So you're putting a blue-green, cold, freezing mist in it that condenses down more and more the more you get it in there. And you want to do the same amount of meditation time on it so that you get the two elements roughly balanced as far as the amount of each you put in. You can also just pronounce the mantra mentally if you want to use that approach. Of course, the Western magician would be using the pentagrams.
I definitely can feel the cold now. Of course, the better you are at connecting to the element and visualizing it and moving the energy, the stronger the process will become.
Yes, and the more you're good at working with the specific elements too, the better you can visualize, like for water, that freezing cold mist that gets more and more like solid water as it goes into the statue, more and more solid, icy cold, contracting, squeezing, holding all that fire element in and not letting it expand out to escape into the universe. At the same time, the fire element within keeps the water element from contracting itself down to nothing, so you're creating a good solid balance at that point, and a powerful, to use a term Bardon might use, a powerful volt within the statue.
Electric and magnetic.
Yep. Water has the magnetic fluid and fire the electric.
So then we want to move on to air.
And the air mantra is yum, again spelled Y-A-M like yam, but pronounced yum for the bija mantra for air. We'll do the air.
Yeah. And the visualization for that is
yeah, the air is flowing in and
making space.
No, you can imagine it making the statue lighter and lighter and filling it with a feeling of ease. And it keeps the fire and water together in harmony so that they're not conflicting. It's not a conflict with the air in there. It's separating them. It's more like a love union. So you're combining them with the air in there, making a statue lighter, making everything easier, big feeling of ease and lightness. And that also goes to mood, so ease and lightness and mood, happiness, positive feelings of those sort, happiness and lightness of mood, that kind of thing, into it with the air element. Western magicians usually use the color yellow for air. My preference is more like a sky blue color, but it doesn't matter. It's the fact that you're getting the air element in there. Everything functions better with the air. The water needs air within it. The fire needs air to burn. And air contains both the water and the warmth of the fire, the coldness of the water. The air also intensifies, and you should put it in so it creates a pressure like pumping a tire full of pressure. It has enough air to be active. And as said, there are those that can use just the air element to the point where they can levitate objects.
That feels pretty good.
Yep. By the way, the only reason I'm not touching the object is my arms are uncomfortable in that position. I've been having some cramps and things, so.
That's okay. You can
Go on to Earth.
go on to Earth.
Go on to
Yes.
Earth, okay. So we'll do the invoking Earth pentagram. If you were a Western magician, you could follow that with an agla. And I'm not going to go into explaining that. Also, the earth element and the bija mantra for the earth element is lum, L-A-M, pronounced lum. And actually, the M is almost pronounced as an NG, so it's almost lung when you're doing the bija mantras. But the main thing is getting all that heaviness, darkness. You can imagine a dark brown or black color. And as it comes in, the statue and everything, and it gets heavier and heavier, and it manifests down. The heaviness goes to all of the elements and combines them and manifests them down to a more material aspect. So it's solidifying, connecting everything together, materializing it down, making it stronger, setting it in place, making it more physical, more actually real. The earth can be very solid. I've read stories of a Swami who used to stop trains when he didn't want them to move.
You had to let them on and ride for free.
Yep.
Otherwise, the train wouldn't go. Okay, it feels pretty good.
And then you want to impose upon it, especially if you're doing it for the first time, what the major purpose, spiritual purpose being, in this case, be a goddess.
In this case, be the goddess Aurora.
The goddess Aurora, and impregnate the statue with that.
The image of her and her properties and attributes and...
Exactly. Try to see if you can make a contact with the goddess and put that right in there, comprising the spiritual aspect and the purpose of your statue. Like I say, in this case, it's to be the goddess.
And to connect to that energy.
Yeah, but you could be, this could be a way of making an elemental also or something, but in this case, we want the deity energy in there. So it can help if you can connect with that.
So
and get that down from...
Saying the poem that I have, that I recite to her, would be a way of naming her in that sense. I greet thee, Aurora, goddess of the dawn, who brings the newborn day. The stars are gone and fled before thy face. Both sleep and night are routed by thy torch and put to flight. The flowers are awakened by thy dew and turn toward the light, for you renew their life. So also may thy dew revive my soul today, with thanks to be alive. You care for all that's fresh and young, so care for us on whom thy dew is clung. For you remind us that the darkest night must yield to day and flee before the light. I pray thee, shining dawn, to grant me abundant wisdom, love, and energy. I ask thee, gracious goddess, for a wealth of hope, of time to do, of strength and health. Especially this day I ask of thee to be present within me, so mote it be. I give my thanks for all this day may bring, all things embraced by dawn and evening.
And if I had that memorized, I would have recited it also.
It took a long time to memorize that. I don't memorize things as well as I used to.
Yep.
And I have... Where did I put it? My iolite thing. Okay, I guess I'll have to find that later, because I have it in here. I took it off of her to do this. I have a string of iolite, small iolite beads that I wrap around her neck. I have currently misplaced. Nope, not on my lap. Okay.
You can always pause and look for them if you want.
Yeah, let me try that. Success! I found it. It's a little strand of iolite. I bought this quite a while ago. I haven't turned it into an actual necklace yet, but I plan on doing that. The idea is decorating her, make it special, and so I give her like an ornament. And they do that with lots of different statues in the East and so forth, decorate the statue and put garlands of flowers on it and
flowers are really common.
That kind of thing. So
commonly used.
She has her strand of special beads. And there's nothing else that we need to do, right? At this point, we've given her the 4 elements and imbued her with the energy of the goddess in this case that we want her to represent. She goes back on my altar, and every morning that I remember, I say my poem.
Yes.
And talk to her and imbue her. And
if a person had a special request, they could always write it on a slip of paper and place it under the statue.
Sometimes I give some of my statues flowers and things like that, like roses from our garden.
Well, it's always good. It's good practice, and in the East they make a real point of, especially of statues of the gurus, but treating them like they were alive and like the very being that it's supposed to do, and treating the statue as if it was the living body of the goddess in this case, so don't do anything that would embarrass the goddess, or it's showing that proper respect.
And I've had times with her in my room where I've done, gazing at her and had her move. I don't know if it would be visible to anyone else but me, because I was in a special state of mind, or, but I certainly have had that happen with several of my goddess statues.
Yeah, it's a whole nother subject, the gazing, but I've had that happen with gurus' pictures.
Yeah.
A lot of times what I get is their mouth will start moving as if they were actually talking, that kind of thing, and moving. And
yeah.
It is
sort of disconcerting the first few times it happens.
Yeah. But it is
sort of startling.
It's a special consciousness. But when you see that, you're getting a good charge on things when that starts happening. You're being effective. Like in the pictures of gurus, I would try to bring the emanations, the Shakti of that guru through the picture, that type of thing, to affect me.
I think a lot of that stuff, like burning incense and offering garlands and so forth, is a way to help activate that part of the brain and the spirit.
Right.
And bring you into the right relationship with whatever it is. Sort of like a recognition, acknowledgement, and a tuning of your own energy to be compatible with the energy of the being that you're trying to commune with.
Yeah. And I don't recommend doing any type of being that would need any type of statue where you need to coerce like they do with the demonic beings or anything. Anybody that would need coerced, I wouldn't recommend even going that route.
No.
Just stay away from that type of magic, because it
ends badly.
Either
One way
physically or psychologically or emotionally or something.
It ends badly.
Yeah.
But hey, people will do what they will do.
That's true.
So, this is my statue.
A nice Aurora statue.
Nice Aurora statue. I painted her in traditional colors. I looked them up. I painted her wings to represent the dawn just coming up on the horizon. So, there's like the dark blue up above and
nice little touches of
the
red.
Different pinks and things like that as the dawn breaks. But her traditional colors are purple and gold. Purple and gold. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Awesome.
Because purple's my favorite color anyway, so. All right. So this is, as usual, if you have questions or comments, please make them. You can contact me at shifersmagicalcove@gmail.com with questions. You can join me on Facebook. Send me a friend's request, usually with a personal message to let me know that you're one of the people in our group and you're not just some random stranger.
Yes, and if you have questions...
I have any number of those types of things, so it's sometimes difficult for me to tell the difference between people.
Yeah, so you can reach me for questions that way too. If you have any questions about the specific things I mentioned, like the bija mantras or something, just do it through Siofra's webpage or the site comments or something. Or
I pass them along.
Yep.
So we're hoping that you found this entertaining at the least. Maybe educational a little bit, and just some idea of what it's like to just sit and do something that we talk about doing, and the time that it takes to do it. Apparently this has been a little over half an hour that we spent, so
that's not too bad for the 4 elements and the spirit aspect. Me, for the stuff I'm doing, I usually I charge it up repeatedly.
And yes, you can definitely do that.
Yeah, just because I feel like I need to get it stronger. I don't feel like I can do it as strong as I want with just one repetition, so I usually do it a bunch of times. And then
and there's no limit to the number of times you can do this.
But you don't have to
strengthen the connection if you need to or want to.
But you can also increase whatever the nature of the statue is, like the goddess nature, that type of thing, without having to renew the elements. Doing the elements just brings it down to a more solid, functional level and kind of manifests everything down. So you can, if you just short of time or something, just reiterate the main focus of the statue, which in this case is the goddess Aurora.
That's why I like the poem.
Just doing Aurora invocations, that
Yep.
type of thing, yeah.
It really helps a lot, and it actually helps me
Yeah.
personally, because I don't always get as in touch with the energy when I say it in the mornings, sometimes more than others,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But it always helps to set the tone for the day.
Yeah, and imagine it as if, in this case, as if the goddess Aurora was actually hearing it, was in the statue, is connected to it enough, she can hear you when you say it. And basically, the more you treat the statue with the respect of as if it were a living being, the better your result will be.
Okay, so we're going to sign off at this point. Hope you've enjoyed. Looking forward to the comments and so forth. And blessed be, everybody.
Blessed be.